I'm just waiting for someone to show up. I'm hoping someone will show up. That doesn't mean anything, right? Oh, there is someone here. Hello. How are you? I'm going to talk about the sciatic nerve today and what it can do to you. I tried to do a delayed live and couldn't figure out what I was doing. I have to get my husband to help with that, but he's not home at the moment. So I'm live by myself. Well, I would like to know who you are. Could you tell me who you are? Well, I guess we will wait for other people to come in. Do you have spinal issues? Do you have spinal problems? I guess I should say. I know I do. I like to interact with those in my live chat, but I can't do it if I don't know who you are. Oh, another person in the chat. Hi and welcome. How are you today? How are both of you? Hey, John. How are you? So you get to see me for real instead of just a photo. Oh, lucky you. I have had no luck on eBay, but we've decided to wait until January. Oh, oh my gosh. What did you think of that video? Of that, yeah, the video I put out. Ah, we have someone else with us now. Hello, new person. I tried to do a later live and was having a very hard time figuring out what to do. I've got to get my husband to help me with that. My next what? My next live? And John, the reason why we've decided a pool video? Ugh. Probably not till January because I don't have the money to pay for it right now. I wanted to go this month, but David hasn't been feeling good, so he hasn't been able to drive to make extra money. So I didn't have the money to pay for the pool this month. So, um, I'm trying to go live on a regular basis though. If I can figure out how to set it up so people know I'm going to be going live at a certain time instead of just, oh wow, guess what? Denise is live again. And I've decided not to do eBay until January when we move into the house because I don't have a place to set up a camera to take proper pictures. Right now, I'm having to have someone else do it, and I need a place to weigh everything. And I don't like to constantly have to ask someone else, can you do this? Can you do this? They don't mind, but I do because I'm the entrepreneur and I want to, you know, I want to ask for help when I have to have help, but I want to be able to do things myself. Plus, a lot of the things I want to sell, um, I still got to do research for, and I've got to make some notes so I know what I'm doing. Yeah, in my pool videos, I plan to show what kind of exercises to start off with, especially if you're disabled, and what you can do if you're past that point, and of course, only up to what I'm capable of at the moment. There's another person in here, but they're very quiet. I was hoping Bumcrack Picker would show up because I wanted to make him a a moderator, um, which I just made you a moderator, John. And Bumcrack Picker, I see him or her everywhere. So, and I'm always saying hi. And I figure, okay, great, great moderator person, just as well as you are. And I was hoping that Marie would show up. I was hoping I was doing the live video late enough for her because she's all the way out in California. Exactly. Well, would you like me to go ahead and start the information about what the sciatic nerve can do, or do you think I should wait a little bit? Bomb crack picker is everywhere. I feel so nervous when I get in front of this camera. I don't know why. I guess everyone does at first. Okay, well, it looks like we have one other person, so I guess I will go ahead and start telling you what the sciatic nerve is capable of. I was on a I should say I was in a lot of pain the other night. And so I decided to see, okay, I know this pain is coming from my sciatic nerve. Could they possibly cut my sciatic nerve so I don't feel this pain anymore? And I found out that's not a good idea because then I wouldn't feel any sensation in my leg at all. But I did find out some things that I didn't realize that a sciatic nerve can do. So I'm going to talk about those. I did know that the sciatic nerve can cause lower back pain. The pain can be dull, it can be sharp. For me, it's usually pretty sharp when it comes on. Um, but there are times when it's dull, but it's usually sharp. And the movement, of course, can be uh, inhibited, but my lower back movement is always inhibited because of my fusion and the rods I have in my spine, 3/4 of my spine. You can have pain in your buttocks, and that can be pretty painful. And it can cause pain even when you're sitting or you're standing. And you can have a burning sensation. That's not usually something I feel, but every once in a while I have complained to the doctor I have been feeling this burning sensation. You can also have tingling, and it feels like pins and needles. I've not had that issue. Um, can cause numbness. I have felt numbness in my spine as well as my nerve, the sciatic nerve, as well as my leg. Sorry. The sciatic nerve runs down your right leg, and it can cause difficulty standing. I've had that issue, and it's very frightening when all of a sudden you're trying to stand up and your body won't let you do it. For me, what usually happens is I would possibly be able to get on my legs, but although I can bend my back from my hips, when my sciatic nerve is acting up I can't raise the rest of myself up from my hips, and it shoots pain down my legs and I have to get back up on the bed with David's help. David is my husband, by the way. um, and this was a new one for me. It can cause hip pain. I always thought that the pain I had in my hip was from my bursitis. And after reading this online, I found out that it can often be um, from my sciatic nerve. And the hip can be so sensitive that even having a blanket laying on it is not tolerable. And that's pretty bad in the wintertime when you can't cover up because your hip hurts. It also does that with my leg. Sometimes I will have to sleep with my right leg out because it hurts to have a cover on it. It can cause weakness. I don't know if you've heard me talk about it in the past, but there will be times when I will be trying to walk and all of a sudden my legs feel weak and I feel this um I don't know how to describe it. It's a sensation that runs from the middle of my spine all the way down my legs, and I know if someone doesn't come get me, I'm going to the floor. And going to the floor at my weight and with all my problems is not fun because it's not easy to get me up off the floor. And the shooting pain, which is um, something I also deal with, um, I feel it usually down my right leg, all the way down into my toes. I don't usually feel it shooting in my spine. Every once in a while I do, but not all the time. And the pain can be so bad that it can cause insomnia. Um, and yes, I do deal with that a lot. And because I have fibromyalgia and I need more sleep than most people, I get very frustrated when I have insomnia because um, I don't want to get up when I need to get up. I do get up, but I don't want to. And after I do what I need to do, I have to go back and take a nap. And I don't like having to take naps. I have dealt with insomnia most of my life, and now I have a new not corporate, um, I have a new thing causing me to have insomnia, which, there again, I don't like. Um, it can cause swelling. I have had swelling, especially in my lower spine. I can feel around the stitches area in my lower spine, and I can tell that it's swollen. And sometimes, if I sit for a long time, I will notice that my lower leg and my feet are swelling. And my husband has asked, I wonder what's causing that. So it is possible that it is my sciatic nerve causing this swelling. Difficulty sitting. Yes, I deal with that. I will sit for a while and then I will have to ask somebody to get me up. And if I am at the house, I will have them help me come back to the bed so I can sit in the bed. But if we are out and about, I need to stand up and move about a little. If we're in the car, um, my husband will often catch me rocking back and forth on um, my left and right buttocks to try to get the pain to stop hurting so much. Um, Knee pain. I just complained to the doctor who did my knee replacement the other day that ever since um, I had my knee operation, my knee replacement, that I have my whole leg will hurt and my knee will hurt and the muscles in my leg will get really tight like this. And I end up having to take one of my muscle relaxers because it is so bad that there's no way I can go to sleep. And of course, with any kind of pain or muscle relaxer medication, that makes you sleepy, and it often causes me to need to sleep more, which, there again, I don't like that. And falling. Some people um, actually fall. I don't usually fall because I know that I'm going to go down, so I call out for someone and they come help me. But if I didn't, if I was by myself, which I am very, very seldom by myself, I could actually fall due to this pain. If you have sciatic nerve pain and you have a fever, this means that the sciatic nerve pain is acute and can be cured. For me, there is no cure because before I had my um, spine fused, there was disc pressing on my nerves. And unfortunately, my sciatic nerve was one of the nerves that it was pressed on the worst, and it caused damage on my nerve. And the doctor told me when I had this surgery that the damage may go away, but there was no guarantee. Well, for me, the damage didn't go away. I have a friend who had nerve damage, and her damage went away. Um, I've often had people ask me, how can I go on believing in God when I deal with so much pain? Because I have this sciatic nerve pain, I'm fused, I have bursitis in my hips, I have fibromyalgia, I have degenerative disc disease, which means that the disc in my spine will continue to crumble even though I'm fused. Um, and spinal stenosis, which goes along with the degenerative disc disease. I have osteoarthritis. Many of my joints are arthritic, and I have osteoporosis. Over the last 8 years, I believe it is, I have had infusions to help with my osteoporosis, and that has helped majorly. Before they started these infusions, um, the doctor said that if I had fallen, I would have to have a hip replacement because I would have shattered my hip. It is not so bad anymore, but I do walk with a cane, or I ride in a wheelchair, or I ride in a motorized cart. Um, Forgive me, I have fibrofog and forget where I was going with what I was saying. That's a very frustrating thing about fibromyalgia. And they've tested me to make sure that I don't have beginning stages of dementia or Alzheimer's because that's a fear of mine. I've had many people in my family who have Alzheimer's, who have developed Alzheimer's, and so I got tested and they said no. So it's my fiber fog. There are times when I'm talking and I won't know the next word I'm trying to say, and I will have to have someone else around me who knows my problem insert the word for me, or I will have to think in my mind, okay, what are things similar to what I'm trying to say so I can remember the word. Life with disability is very frustrating at times. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. People ask me why I still believe in God. Why aren't I angry with God? There are times, occasionally, not very often, when I do get mad and ask God why, but most of the time I don't. I know that we have problems for a reason. We often have problems so that we can help others, which is what I am trying to do with this channel. And it is something that our pastor has told us, you know, to help others with problems like ours. Um, Also, I know that if we were perfect and had no problems whatsoever, we wouldn't call on God. We would just think we could do it all by ourselves. And yes, I will say that I have grown even closer to God um, since I have developed all these problems. I read my Bible more and I talk more with other like minded Christians. So, in a way, being disabled for me is a good thing. The pain? No, it's not a good thing. It's very painful. And there are times that I am laying in my bed and I'm crying out. And my husband used to ask me if I was okay or what's wrong. But he knows now. Um, and there are a few times that I've actually screamed out loud because the pain has been so bad. Not all the pain is caused by the sciatic nerve for me. Thank you. I'm trying. I really do try. And I've had people ask me how I can be so cheerful and be in pain. And I try not to let on that I'm in pain. I'm in pain of some degree all the time. And I try not to show it. But there are times when it gets so bad that, yes, I do. I cry out. I don't mean like I'm crying with tears running down my face, but I make noises and people know I'm in pain. Or my husband says, you can see it on my face if the pain is really bad. But I think that's more so if you know me. Um, because often my friends can't even tell. My sister can, and she knows that I'm a fighter, and like we will go out together and she will ask me, "Do you need to go home?" Cuz she can see I'm hurting. And I'm like, "No, I'm okay." And she'll be like, "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure." But then when it gets worse, I'm like, "Yeah, I need to go home now." And of course, that's past the point where I should have gone home, but I don't get to see my sister that often, although we live in the same town. Um, but she's very busy and works a lot, so I don't get to see her as often as I would like. So when we do go out, I try to deal with my pain for as long as possible. And if you're not disabled or if you don't deal with pain on a regular basis, you may not know that the kind of pain that I'm talking about, if you don't deal with it, if you don't take a pain pill or relax, lay down, take a nap sometimes, the pain gets so bad that even a pain pill, it can take an hour or two before the pain will go away. And due to this, I've learned that, yeah, sometimes I have to be prepared when I go out with my sister or with my husband. I have to, have something with me so in case the pain comes on. When my husband and I go out, we don't stay out very long due to my pain. Um, on our other channel, Vulture the Dumpster Diver, um, when you see dumpster diving, you will see him doing the dumpster diving, not me, um, because too much getting in and out of the car causes a lot of pain. But I am trying to get stronger. I'm trying to lose weight. My rheumatologist said that he thinks that if I do those two things, that the pain will be less. And I really hope he's right. So far, I've lost 30 pounds, and I'm continuing to work on that. I tried to work out in the house, which my doctor told me that only working out in the pool would work, but I'm stubborn. So I was like, okay, well, I can't go to the pool right now, so I'm going to try to work out in the house. And I started out doing some things that I could do from my bed. And then I stood up and did some things with my hands on the wall. And I hurt really badly afterwards. And I hurt for the rest of the day. Even though I took a pain pill, I hurt for the rest of the day. And that evening, I was still in pain. And I've tried to do some of the exercises that I do in the pool, holding on to the wall. Oh my gosh, big, big, big difference. I couldn't lift my leg as high and I couldn't hold it up. It immediately came back down when I was trying to do the side leg raises. And I complained to my husband, and he said, "Yeah, the gravity is pulling your leg down. You don't have it like it is in the water. You have the water helping you." And I was like, "Yeah, but you lose more weight when you work out in the water." And he said, "Yeah, you do, but it is easier on your body and it doesn't cause as much pain because the water helps you." So then I understood why the doctor told me to only work out in the pool. None of you know me from many years ago before I had my spine fused and before my first two laminectomies. Before all of that, I dealt with back pain and I just grinned it and bear it. But it got worse over time. But before it got worse, I was walking 3 miles a day. Hold on 1 second, please. I've got to blow my nose. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, I used to walk 3 miles a day, and my mileage started out, my minutes started out at 22 minutes a mile, and I got it down to 15 minutes a mile, and I was working on getting it down to a 12-minute mile because I wanted to do some, not a marathon because that's what, 5 miles, I think. But I wanted to do some races, and instead of running, I wanted to walk because I thought a 12-minute mile was pretty good. So that was my goal. And even when we lived in Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, I was walking 3 miles a day. And at that time, I didn't have the weight I do now. Um, at that time, I was weighing in at about 190 pounds. And I would go every evening. There was a park right across from the house where we lived. And I would go and walk every evening after the kids went to bed. And my husband was in the living room so he could make sure I was okay. And the nice thing about Puerto Rico is every, um, let's see, I won't say neighborhood. The neighborhoods are divided into different small communities. And ours was not locked, but it did have an entrance, only one way in and one way out. And there was like one, two, three, four, I think five different streets within the neighborhood. And we had a park. And if you go to another area, they had a park. Everywhere had a park. And I loved that and I missed that. But of course, now I can't walk on pavement. I have tried in the past and I can't handle it. And so now instead of walking on pavement, I walk on a treadmill in the pool. And eventually I would like to get where I'm walking a mile at a time. But right now, that doesn't happen. I just try to walk for like 10 minutes. And I think that right now that's like an eighth of a mile for me. And this is all very frustrating and very different for me. But I keep going, and I know if I keep trying, it gets better. I have never in the past been as heavy as I am right now, and I don't have a full length mirror. I don't like looking at myself in the mirror most of the time. Um, but I know that I didn't do this to myself. I ended up this way due to not being able to move, spending almost, oh gosh, I was in bed for almost 10 years. I would get up and um, cook dinner, cook lunch, and when I was cooking, I would sit in a chair, in a rolling chair, so that I could cook for my daughter. And later on, it was daughters. Um, but I spent a lot of time in bed because I was in a lot of pain. And there were times when I was in so much pain that I didn't want anybody to even come visit me. And my father in law came from Puerto Rico. They now live here in the States, but at that time they lived in Puerto Rico. And he said, "You have to go to the doctor. I'm taking you to the doctor." And I told him, I said, "Dad, I can't because you have to pay a, was it premium before they will pay for um, tests and stuff." And he said, "Don't worry about it. I'm taking care of it." And I'm like, "Dad, it can be expensive." And my premium was $500. And I did not have $500. And he says, "I'm going to take care of it." And I'm like, "Okay, Dad, if you say so." So I went to see one doctor, and he told me pretty much nothing was wrong. And I came home, I was upset, and my husband told me, "Go back down there and tell him you want to see another doctor." And I said, "Honey, it doesn't work that way." And he convinced my father-in-law, which I call Dad, and me to go back down there. So I went back down there, and I told him I have to see another doctor, and I told him how bad a pain I was in, and I had gotten to the point where I couldn't do anything. So they went back and spent a long time back in the back. And then they came back and told me that I was going to see this spine specialist. He wasn't just an orthopedist, he was a spine specialist. And they told me he doesn't normally see people without a referral, but he's going to see you. And he saw me and he looked at the x rays that the other doctor had done. And he told me, he says, "I can't see anything in these x rays." He said, "No doctor could. I want you to go and have these x rays done again." and they have an x-ray right there in the doctor's office. So I went and had them done again, and he told me um, what my problems were, um, that my lamina was causing some issues. And I said, well, I was told years ago I have scoliosis. And he said, you have a very small, very, very small, nothing to even make a big deal about scoliosis. And I was like, okay. So he said, I'm going to send you to have an MRI. And when I told my father, I said, I have to have an MRI, and my premium is $500. And he said, I'm paying for it. You're going to have that MRI. We need to know what is wrong with you. You need to be able to get back to your life. So I had the MRI done, and giving me an injection. And the first injection seemed to work pretty good. So he said, okay, we're going to go and we're going to do another one. Um, I think it was a week later. So when I had the second one done, that didn't come out so good. I went in walking and I came out in a wheelchair. I couldn't move. And I can't remember if this is the first time or before the second lamina operation that this was done. But I do know that the injection went in, but between the bone and the nerve, there wasn't enough room for the cortisone to spread throughout my spine. So it was just sitting there, pressing on that nerve even more. So then I had to go in and had to have a laminectomy. And during my second laminectomy, I had spinal fluid leakage. So I was in there a little bit longer. And the both times I had the same therapist who came in. And the very first time that I had the laminectomy, this therapist comes in there and he's a tough guy, you know. He's like, you got to get up out of the bed and blah, blah, blah. So I moaned and groaned and complained because after you have a spinal operation of any sort, you're in pain, but you have to get up that very first day. And after he got me moving some and he left the room, I told my husband, I said, he's a real butthole, you know that? And when he came back, I told him, I said, I know why you're such a butthole. And he says, oh, you do? Why? I said, because if you're mean to me, you know that I'm going to get up and I'm going to do what you want me to do. And he just smiled at me, and I did. I got up and I did what he needed me to do. And when I left the hospital, I was walking down the hallway holding on to the walker. And I had to walk back and forth across the house with the walker every day. But then the pain got bad again. And I remember I used to play a game called Second Life. And I had a really good friend on there. And my husband was at work and I couldn't call him at work. So I was crying in my friend's ear and I said, I'm in such pain. I know I'm going to have another operation. And he tried to encourage me. And I was like, yeah, but this is just like the other pain. And I did eventually have to have another operation, but it wasn't right then. It wasn't until we were hit on my side of the car. The guy, we were in the parking lot and we're going this way, and the guy's sitting here, like waiting for us to move. And he had this awful, mean, like, look at us because we were in his way. And all of a sudden, he stepped on the gas and he hit us hard, and then he dragged his car all the way to our back bumper. And we followed him. My husband drove and followed him, telling the police, this is where he's at, and we got his license plate number. If we hadn't have followed him, we wouldn't have. And the cops said, that was pretty stupid. He could have drew a gun on us. And my husband's like, I wanted him to be accountable for what he did, but the cops didn't get there fast enough to um, find where the guy went. He stepped on the gas and he took off after he got into a neighborhood, and then um, they asked me. They had the ambulance come and check me over and check my husband over, and they asked me, are you in pain? And I'm like, I don't know. I said I feel some pain, but I have fibro, so it's hard to know if the pain I'm having in my hip is from my fibro or from this accident. So they said, okay, well, we won't take you to the hospital. Well, we got home and I laid down, and the pain just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And my husband took me to the emergency room. I had to have 2 doses of morphine. The pain was that bad. And then I had to go and see my spine specialist again, and I had to have another laminectomy. So then when I ended up, um, my spine broke. When I went in complaining about my knee, I was told my spine broke. And I had a spot about that big where the skin was caving in because my spine wasn't there. It had moved. And my spine looked like this. And um, the doctor said that he thought, and the lawyer also thought, that having to be fused was due to that guy hitting us. But unfortunately, I had already closed the case. I had already gotten the amount of money that I was going to get and wasn't able to get any more. But it frustrated me that he did so much damage to my body, but all he was told was he couldn't drink for the next year and he couldn't do any drugs for the next year. He couldn't be caught driving for the next year. And I was like, that's like this. You did a bad thing, but you're just gonna get a hand pat. You're okay. And I saw him on YouTube. I looked him up on YouTube, and he was on a video on YouTube doing what is that called? Where they play with a ping pong ball and they hit it in the glass, and if they manage to get the ping pong ball in the glass, they have to take a shot. And he was on Facebook doing that. This was before he was told he couldn't do any of that. But this was a stupid thing. The lawyer asked me, what did I want to see happen to this young man? And I said, I want him to go to jail. I want him to pay for what he did to me. And then that's all the punishment he got. So now that I've talked your ears off, is there any questions you have for me? I know I repeated some of this stuff that I made a video on about my disability, but I tried to expand on it a little bit. It's easier when I'm live because I feel like I'm actually talking to a person. And when I'm being recorded, I know I'm being recorded, so I don't feel like I'm talking to a person. I feel like I'm talking to myself. So that's why I think I was able to expand a little bit on my disability here. My future for this channel is to have other people who I've met in other chats who are disabled come on and talk about their disabilities, even if we have the same disability. Um, it can affect different people in different ways. I talked to a guy the other day. He has fibromyalgia and it affects men different than women. And I think it affects them psychologically different than it does us because, men are usually the main breadwinners, not always, but usually the main breadwinners. Men are usually the ones that do a lot of the repairs around the house and in the car and things like that. So I think that it really affects them mentally in a different way than it does us women. Where us women are usually the caregivers and we take care of the kids. People ask me, how do I do that when I'm in bed? Well, my kids are older, so I'm able to take care of them from the bed. And I have a 28-year-old and a 21-year-old daughter, and they help with, getting the food for the kids and things like that. But when I didn't have that, like I told you, I was sitting in a chair and making food for my kids. And I'm hoping when we get into our house, which we're supposed to do that come January, yay! Um, then I'm going to be in my chair again and working on trying to cook for my family again because that will make me even more appreciative and happy that I can do things again. So I guess I'm going to end the chat. They say you should do an hour in your live chat. That's the best. We've still got 8 minutes. I don't know that you guys want me to talk for 8 more minutes. And I'm glad I got you through shipping, John. And I thank you that you care about my health and the progress that I've made and am making. I'm so thankful for my spine specialist. The My spine specialist had sent me to another spine specialist to do my fusion and put the rods in because he no longer did that kind of surgery. I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for my rheumatologist. And I'm thankful for the doctor who did my knee replacement. I've been very blessed with four wonderful doctors. Oh, and the doctor who did, I don't think you can see it. I have a scar right here where I shattered my shoulder and I had to have that replaced. And that doctor is an orthopedist and he works on hands and arms and he's a wonderful doctor as well. So I was blessed with him as well. And I've been blessed with very good friends, both um, in my daily life and people that I've met online who are encouraging and supportive. And I'm thankful for all of you guys. And I thank you guys for coming today. I wish we had had more people show up. I was hoping by having the live during the day instead of at night, we would have more people show up. A lot of the people who are subscribed to my channel or channels are also subscribed to um, Scrap Dog, um, and he goes live every night. And then Hip Flippin' Mama Kelly, she goes live on Wednesday nights. So I didn't want to interfere with her live. And Um, I knew if I went live again at night, I probably wouldn't have many people come in because of Scrap Dog. So I thought, well, I'll go live in the daytime and hopefully I'll have more people. Maybe it's just because I'm not as well known yet. But please subscribe to my channel if you're not. Like this video and tell others about anything is possible. And please remember, everyone, believe in yourself. No matter what your struggles are, believe in yourself. You can do it. And if I can learn to walk again, you can manage to make it through whatever struggle you're dealing with, whether it be physical, mental, family issues, even with your eBaying, which I'm struggling with right now. But I'm going to make it because I believe in myself. And thank you, John, for watching my video and letting me know that you watched my video and saw me in the pool. Um, and Michael, the guy who owns that place, he's wonderful, very supportive, very caring. He notices when you lose weight and he will come in and check upon me to make sure I'm not having any trouble when I'm in the pool. So he's a very caring guy. He's in the military. Um, he's in the reserves. He used to be full time, and now he's very supportive of the veterans. Okay, I will talk to you later, Dad. John, thanks for coming. Bye. And the other person that's in here, thank you for coming. I'm glad that you came, and I hope you learned something today. And I wanted to make this video until an hour, like they told me to. We've got 2 minutes left, so I guess I will wait until the video should be over before I end the stream. I really wish the other person in the chat would say hi so I know who you are, but it's okay if you're shy. I understand. I used to be very shy myself. And if you have any questions, please leave me a comment if you don't feel like talking in the live stream. Leave me a comment and ask me a question if you want. And those of you who are watching this live stream after the fact, please leave me comments. Tell me if you liked the video. Tell me what you didn't like the video about the video. I want to improve. I want to help those of you who are struggling um, with disabilities. I want to include you in my video. If you are watching this video and you are interested in being included in a live video, please just comment below and let me know that. And I will get in contact with you. And you can get in contact with me privately if you want at vulturethedumpsterdiver@gmail.com. And I also have my eBay, which is Vulture, SELLS, all one word. And I will start selling again in January. And I hope to put a lot of good things up for sale for everyone that sees me on eBay. Okay, well, we've hit the hour mark, so I'm going to say bye bye. And don't forget, keep believing in yourself. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.